Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collected podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hello everyone, welcome to Ouch My Wallet for Wednesday, August 21st. We are live broadcasting on YouTube, so feel free to join into the chat with us at 8 p.m. on Central. On Wednesdays is when we're going for. I'm your host, Rob. With me is Lucas.
Hey.
Rick. And Jim.
Hello.
Yeah, so Out to My Wallets, where we talk about whatever Transformers and other toys we may have gotten recently and just generally be nerds for a little while. So,
yes.
My wallet really doesn't hurt until my wife finds out. So
then your back hurts because you're sleeping on the couch? Got him. So,
zing.
I was thinking tonight if you wanted to kick us off, Jim, because you haven't been on the relaunch show yet, and plus one of mine's one of yours is one that I know you had anyways, so.
Jim, look at that, the new haircut, and you got the whiskers all trimmed, looking like a handsome devil, you.
Yes.
You look like a dangerous, you look like
I just need some
John
points.
Travolta in, God, what's that movie?
Hairspray.
Hugh Jackman.
Hairspray.
Oh.
No, not Hairspray.
The John Travolta movie with Halle Berry and Hugh Jackman.
Swordfish?
He wasn't an
Swordfish.
Oh, I was like, wait.
Where the
John
bus
Travolta was an
crashes through the
X-Men?
billboard because of speed.
Okay. I was thinking X-Men.
Like old people.
We are old.
Yeah.
I was completely lost. I'm like,
I
what?
saw that in the theater.
Guy.
I'm like, what mutant did John Travolta play?
I didn't even know
Must
that.
have been the.
All I remember is that Halle Berry was in it. I don't know
didn't
how I got
remember
that
that.
name.
Swordfish. Good for you. Man. And where's
So,
that
yeah.
movie now?
Out my wallet. I've actually picked up recently a couple of Studio Series items. First off is Bone Crusher. Just because everyone loves him, even though he hates everyone.
What do you think of it? Especially compared to like the old Deluxe.
Well, it's actually really similar to the old Deluxe. Like just overall transformation, design, and everything. It's not too dissimilar from that. The arms aren't nearly as long and gangly as the old Deluxe was, but overall, it's great. Articulation is actually better, I think. Transformation is a little more complex, but not much. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's a big improvement over the deluxe, but
Yeah.
I
Scale.
still feel like, scale.
Scale.
I still
especially.
feel we need like a leader class one, just because I want him to be bigger or as big as Optimus.
When are we going to get Transformers the bus? I want a bus that it like splits in two.
I'm trying to think, is there never been a Transformer bus? I know there was that other transforming bus out in Japan. I don't know what line it was. It wasn't like very complex or anything.
Huh.
Hmm.
Maybe that was.
I want a line of Transformers of like classic cars from the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
How about
Call
cars?
it
would
call
be
it
cool.
classics.
How about
Transformers classics?
That would be
cars
confusing.
that? How about cars
Maybe.
that middle class people actually own?
RID.
Here's my
Come on.
Dodge Stratus Transformer.
Look at my
We could call
Dodge
it
Neon.
alternators.
I'm just saying, like all these times we get licensed vehicles, we get like Lamborghinis and
Can the Dodge Neon come with like a door that's like the wrong color?
oh. How about a little 3-door Saturn S?
I don't even know what that
A
is.
Suzuki Swift.
It's a coupe, but it has a little suicide door on the driver's side. Opens backwards.
Saturn Ion. I had one of those.
right?
Saturn Ion. Yeah.
Saturn doesn't exist anymore, does it?
Yep.
No.
No, they died.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
It's
thought.
one of those
Saturn
GM.
died.
Yeah.
I mean,
Saturn was kind of like
GM still exists, so I mean, they could always bring it back if they wanted.
for now. GM exists for now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with what's going on in the news, they might not make it till next year.
Then, in addition to Bone Crusher, I got Hightower.
As did I.
I am thoroughly impressed by this.
So-
I mentioned in previous episodes, I'm just a massive fan of the outlandish, more alien designs that don't conform to the standard human shape. And this fits the bill nicely.
Jim,
So-
I enjoy
How
this
does he
act.
pilot a ship or use a keyboard or something?
he doesn't need to. He's a transforming alien.
I would assume he would have some kind of port, like maybe he has a USB port that he just flips out,
Is
plugs
he,
himself into it.
Wi-Fi, baby.
Like,
But
is he
you'll never
equivalent
see
to
that.
like a T-Rex, where
But-
the arms aren't really useful.
But you'll never really see that in the PG version.
So speaking of a PG version,
Face palm.
you think there'll be a third-party version of what for this Devastator?
Oh, the testing class.
I anticipate
What?
it's probably already in the design phase.
Aren't they making a third party Devastator already? I can't
Yeah.
remember who it is.
Yeah.
Somebody.
I bet
is.
you that comes with that.
Yeah.
But I'm actually surprised that no one ever took the Legends figures that we got back in Revenge of the Fallen
Upscaled them.
and upscaled them. Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, Jim, a while back when you mentioned about how I think we were talking about like kind of like what it was the episode we were talking about where like what kind of like mark each line had on the franchise, and you mentioned that
Yeah.
about what you liked from the movies, that it got us some weird ass designs, and ever
Yeah,
since you
absolutely.
said that really resonated with me, and it made me appreciate the Bay designs more because I still hate the movies, but like
They're
they give us some
alien-
unique looking toys, like when the toys are good, like Revenge of the Fallen was an excellent
Right.
toy line. This is definitely
So-
the weirdest of the bunch yet.
So let me ask you though, like from that line, like two stick out: Ravage and the Fallen. Would you? I consider them. I consider Ravage good for robot mode, but like,
Does it
does
transform?
it just kind of transforms because it has to, not because it needs to.
Yeah. And Fallen's not
You
very
know-
good either.
I'm drawing a blank. What does the Deluxe Ravage transform into? I don't think I've ever got that figure.
Into like a little like satellite alien ship type thing.
Okay, little like
It's
Yeah.
alien looking. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's alien looking.
okay. Because I remember I had the Deluxe Soundwave and Ravage was the missile.
It's
It's
actually
like
pronounced
solid.
Ravage. A lot of people don't know that.
That may not be
Work-
accurate.
Working at Hasbro, I can tell you it's actually pronounced Ravage.
Well,
We'll have to check the
I mean,
TF wiki.
yeah. I mean, but when I first heard it, he was announced. I thought it was pronounced Ravagi.
Ravagi or Ravagi.
You have to pronounce it so that it rhymes with ravioli.
Are you,
It's Ravage. Come on,
okay?
people.
So
he's
you're
French.
using a hard G. So let me guess. You're one of those people that says GIF instead of GIF, right?
Well, yes, I say it correctly.
I don't have to
Anything
take
else
this.
you got, Jim?
Isn't Jif a peanut
Uh,
butter?
Yes. Choose your
That's
mom.
Jiffy.
Choose Jif.
Yes.
You guys remember
Um,
Peter Pan peanut butter? Is that still a thing?
Yes.
Or
I
is
think
that
so,
is that
yeah.
gone?
No, it's there. That's usually what our peanut butter is.
I
what
think I
kind
need
of
to go
peanut
buy
butter
some.
do you get, Rick?
I think my wife has Skip. Is that it? Is that one? Or
Skippy.
Skippy or Sith? I don't know.
Gibby.
The dog likes it.
Whoa, she know you
Oh.
call her that? That is rude.
Well,
that is
I
the love of
mean,
your
not for-
life.
Not to
Hmm.
her face.
Mm.
Well, okay, sometimes to her face, but
I
yeah.
want to make sure she finds this video.
Ouchie.
Let's clip it.
We'll fix it in post.
As far as other figures, I don't have them actually sitting here with me, but earlier in the month, I turned 36. I got a Siege, Chromia, and Brunt for my birthday. They're like way off camera. I'm not going to.
Congratulations.
You guys have seen them. You know what they look like. Speaking of Chromia, what is up with her crotch? It will not stay on.
Oh
just-
yeah, that little front.
Yeah, it just falls off. Like you look at Chromia.
The
Wong.
underpants part, yeah.
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 I'm trying to think. I don't know if does mine fall off?
Does yours fall off?
I mean,
I
it's.
think mine popped off once, and that was it.
I mean,
I was gonna say mine hasn't really popped off.
mine pops off easily enough.
Oh, there we go. Now it did.
There you go.
I mean, honestly, it's just another crap part of a crap toy from a crap design. Whatever. It's-
Oh, jeez.
I'm kind of feeling that, man. I kind of feel the same way what you just described. Like, there's some things
Harsh.
which are really hitting it, like the
Everything
movie,
else.
like the studio series Long Haul. But then there's other things like that Chromia, which just kind of
Yeah, I've not had a chance to pick up Long Haul yet.
But luckily we have like 1,000 remolds of this figure. So.
yeah. Thank God,
yeah.
thank
Yeah.
God. What would we do without it?
I mean, you know,
Right.
when you're in the desert, you know,
Now,
you drink whatever comes around, but ugh.
yeah. Now we can expect a million versions of all our characters done as Ghostbusters.
There you go.
Yes, I
I'm
did see that.
excited. I will take that.
Yep. I mean, that's a BotCon set right there.
A what con?
Exactly.
It sounds
was before
almost
you were born.
familiar.
But before you were born, Robert, don't worry about it.
I am,
I'm an old man. I'm 40.
I
look like I'm
especially,
50.
I'm near it.
I'm especially excited about the Ghostbusters line being acquired by Hasbro.
So it'll
I
be less
really-
expensive.
Totally am.
I really like all the the diamond stuff. It's just expensive.
Yeah. Well, let me give you an example of why I'm so excited about the
Like I really
Ghostbusters.
hope we get 3 3/4 inch Ghostbusters. Like that's what I kind of want.
You mean like G.I. Joe's?
Ah.
That's why I'm excited about the Ghostbusters license. It's only gonna
how
be a
come
matter
he's
of
not in
time.
the comic book?
oh man, that
It'll
is
be a matter of time
Wait.
before we get Vince Clortho and Zool, and they remold it into horrible.
Ooh.
That is-
I'm calling it now.
I
I'm calling
believe
it
you.
now.
I believe what you have said is will come to pass.
Are you ready to believe me?
I am ready to believe you.
that is a
Yes.
striking resemblance that I never
Should
would
I
have
call
realized.
555?
Absolutely, it is.
Yes. Wow. You nailed it on its bald head.
So you said
It just that figure horrible. It was just I think
Ooh.
done in the spirit of Zool and Vince Clortho.
God damn.
And that's the thing about spirit is
That's a Comic Con exclusive right there, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, some people hear it, some people fear it, some people just won't go near it.
you said Hasbro had acquired Ghostbusters. Like, did they get the full licensing?
Yeah.
Thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Master
Yeah,
Yeah,
License.
they just announced it today.
Okay, so
Yep.
But it's not just Ghostbusters. It's the Master License, I think, for is it Universal or
Really?
Really, I didn't realize
I
that.
only knew
Part of it.
Ghostbusters. Are you sure?
I don't know, because there's different articles that state like
Yeah.
all the fan articles focus on Ghostbusters, but if you look at the actual like a Economist article, it says a few extra things in there which are interesting.
So you say Ghostbusters line, though, like, it's not like there's a Ghostbusters line in the store right now or anything, right? That
No.
Okay.
Diamond,
They're
right?
redoing the
rights to
movie.
make one.
There's a movie coming out next year.
oh, is this
Yeah.
the one that's
Yep.
a reboot?
Ghostbusters 3. No, it's Ghostbusters 3.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the female
It's going
version
back
is
to
it
the-
still canon? It's just this doesn't
Same-
have anything
No,
to do with
no,
it.
that's gone. That's gone.
It's not even canon.
This is
Same-
a direct
same Harold
sequel to
Ramis.
the original Ghostbusters.
They got
So they're all back, and Jason Reitman, who's Ivan Reitman's son, is directing it,
okay.
and he wrote it with his
I
dad.
guess are they going to start with like a funeral or something?
Would expect
I bet
it.
you Egon shows up. I bet you he's in the trap.
I've
It is-
heard
it is
that
Ghostbusters. They can
Egon's
CGI it.
I've heard that Egon's kid is actually in it. Like that's how they're gonna do it.
Is
Oh.
that who
What
the Stranger's
Like-
Kid thing is in the movie?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the rumor is that she's like his kid.
Okay.
Well, whatever they decide, I trust Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd enough that they would be respectful of Harold Ramis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
They were all really close.
And definitely Jason Reitman, who
Yeah.
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just surprised that they got Bill Murray along because for years he was just like nobody wants to see a bunch of fat old comedy actors get back together again and try to be funny. Like he was
You know
so
what?
down on it for so long.
I think Ghostbusters Answer the Call, as it's been retroactively named, is
Yes.
left a sour taste in people's mouth, and
Hmm.
they kind of want to end it on a high note.
Well, I
I
will
I
say
still
that
think they should make a 21 Jump Street Ghostbusters crossover or a 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover. I think that would be cool.
like the true Ghostbusters 3 was the PC game, or I mean, it was out on like all the consoles too. Like where
Yeah.
it had all the voice.
Oh,
They did all
yeah.
the voices for all of it. Like I'm sure there's a YouTube compilation of just
Oh, there is
you know,
all the cutscenes.
yeah, that was a great game. But toys, toys.
Oh yeah, what? We're doing toys this episode.
Speaking of toys,
Huh.
Lucas, what do you got?
Well, I have a few things. My most expensive purchase is that there's a certain person that's decided to get rid of his collection, and he has an extensive collection.
Rest
Um,
in peace.
Yeah, may he rest in peace. But he's not dead; he's just dead to us.
Like
so-
what's his face? Doran?
Yeah, like Doran.
Yeah.
Like the fruit.
So
No,
I got
the guy who played Worf. Or not Michael
Is
Dorn.
that
so,
Flame?
so I got some European guys. These are the motivators. So it's
Gee,
what
my
Gripper,
goodness.
Lightspeed, and Flame. Yeah.
Yeah, so those don't combine.
No, they do combine. They just don't have extra bits.
Right.
There's no shield, or I'm sorry,
Right.
no chest piece. But you can still combine them together. So
You know,
Yeah.
I just have not done that yet.
I have Road Caesar, and I have Flame and the Red Guy. That I got Flame and the Red Guy in a junker lot forever ago, and I've never looked at isn't the biggest difference between the two sets Flame is actually red on the chest, and I don't think that version on Road Caesars. I think he's black on the chest. Is that right? I have him up there. I don't want to get him down right now. Am I right? Am I crazy? Anybody know?
No, I know. I took pictures of all this stuff for one of my books. It's in there somewhere. I'm just too lazy. to get
Available
it.
on Amazon.
Go buy my
Yeah.
book. This is why I wrote it down in the book. This is why I wrote it down in the book.
Right. We need Peter on these episodes because then he can just break down exactly all the differences.
No kidding. So, Lucas, I didn't think you bought much G1, though. Oh, that's right. You're buying G2, aren't you? Do you consider those G2?
Right.
G1.
I consider it G2. So that is one of the things that I go for is the G1.5 or whatever European stuff. I have all the every G2 US release is released to the store. I don't have obviously Minnesota or whatever, but I have all the US releases, and then I'm working on the European stuff right now. So, but yeah, so I'm down to the point now where I have to get stuff like this because I have most of the other stuff.
G1,
Yeah, I'm missing a bunch of European stuff.
the G1 1.5, the late Euro G1 stuff is that's a really fun toy line. I think I have most of it on 2 shelves, and it's not a ton of toys, but they're all really colorful, and that's why a lot of people I think loop them in with G2, even though they're not.
Right.
But they're all unique molds. They got most of them got repainted as Machine Wars, not all of them, but I don't know.
A lot of them.
I think it's a cool.
I have all the Machine Wars as well.
I think it's a cool subline that often goes overlooked.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think from that line, Thunderclash is by far the best toy. That's the one. If you're gonna get one, I would get a Thunderclash, and then the Skyquake is pretty good too. He's a brick, but he's big, and looks cool. So
You can get the King Atlas
Rotor
version.
Storm's good too. Yep.
Oh yeah, from Universe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or again from Machine Wars, they have a Starscream,
Yeah.
which it's the weirdest thing because it's a black, figure that I don't know why they call it Starscream, but whatever.
But those don't come with all the pieces and guns and stuff. And
The 18 billion little green missiles that
Right.
almost that half that line has, or the GPS guns that the half the line has as well. That the
Yeah.
posts are broken off on all of them.
Yeah, No, that's the thing is like a lot of that line. It's like it's going to be so hard to track down any accessories. It's like whatever you buy, it just be okay with what you're getting out of that lot, because trying to find those accessories is really hard. But I think like a lot of the yellow missiles, like on some of them are not that hard to find, but the green missiles are a little bit harder to find, I think.
The green,
Do I have that right?
The green missiles are really abundant because like the Skyquake came with like 5,000. The yellow ones can be harder because they came with like what was it, like Boss and is it Hydra, one of the names, like those 4 sets of cars. So those are in lesser supply. But the green missiles, because
you're right, yeah,
all over the place.
I got it flipped around. I
actually got the 4 like main cars, like what's his name, Iron Fist, like the 4 that are like in that subgroup. Like I had 2 or 3 of them, and then eBay had some eBay auction with the line of them with like stickers on applied and everything in a lot. And I mean I paid for it, but I paid under market for the lot because nobody wanted to pay for every individual figure, you know. They should have split it up. And I got it as a pretty good deal, so I have like super awesome versions of it. I should put Ripple labels on them someday. But
well, the funny thing is on all of these figures is that like they're really abundant in Europe because I mean they're the European figures, and so it's almost like they're G1, you know, and it's like pretty abundant. So like there's certain countries that just like if you look on eBay, like you can get them from like the Netherlands or Greece is like another one. And shipping actually isn't that bad from those countries to the U.S. So I've actually gotten a few of mine directly from someone in Europe.
Yeah, like Overlord, he's a big deal here in the U.S., but Overlord's pretty common in Europe. I mean, it's not like you're going to find him for $10 or whatever, but especially like played with versions missing a few parts, it's not a big deal over there.
Yeah,
we'll have to go to Auto Nation? Isn't that like one of
the TF Nation?
TF Nation.
Yeah,
and Auto Assembly. Actually, that's what I was confusing with.
That was this weekend.
Yep.
TF Nation.
Yeah, TF Nation was.
What is that?
So it was funny. Greg Berger actually tweeted out about how much fun he had at TF Expo this last weekend in the UK. He's like getting because he went to TF Expo last year, so I'm sure he probably was just getting it confused between the two. So I've got myself a Star Saber.
Is that Planet X's?
This is the Planet X version.
Man,
so
that's pretty.
It is pretty. I tell you what, like they did a hell of a job with all the paint. Like there's a lot of paint, there's a lot of die cast.
There's die cast?
Like the little, the legs are all die cast. The arms, like there's just a ton of like this figure and then their Deathsaurus figure both. Like they just really upped their game like compared to the older figures. And so there's just like the amount of paint and die cast and all that is really good on it. So like I actually prefer this over the Masterpiece version just because like I don't know. I didn't like that the Masterpiece version was unpainted and it just was kind of plain to me.
Zaldron asks
I'm more of
if that's going to be microcasters next week.
So typically on microcasters, we usually don't do high-end figures. I guess we can if people want to check that stuff out. But
I got one on pre-order. I haven't hasn't hit me yet.
I've been holding off on both that and the Deathsaurus. Like I want them, especially because they're IDW inspired. They're not like 100% faithful, but they're like 90%, 95%. It's about as close as it gets. But like I was really surprised when you mentioned diecast because I have Planet X's some of their older stuff, and like none of it has diecast in it, and yeah, I'm surprised they've upped their game that much. That looks really, really stand out.
Yeah, no, it is really good. I mean, it's a little more expensive. This figure is $150, but I would highly recommend the Deathsaurus. Like, I think that this one, I don't think it's quite as good, but it's still good. It still looks really good. There's a lot of articulation in it, but yeah, like that Deathsaurus, I would definitely jump on
How's the
that.
transformation?
So I actually have not transformed it yet. I just got this in on Monday, and I just have not had a chance to to transform him yet.
Does it come with the? Does it have like the 3 pieces that Star Saber traditionally has? He's got the little inner robot and the headmaster.
Yeah, so it has the little inner robot. It doesn't have the headmaster.
Okay.
And then it has the whatchamacallit. Here we go.
I mean, it's not like that was prevalent in IDW
This
anyways. But
This little piece was just off, but I guess I'll put that on.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's cool. I like it. I'm happy that Planet X has upped their game and is still making stuff and whatnot.
I really love Planet X stuff. I couldn't be happier with that Trypticon that they made.
Oh man, somebody actually was offering that for $250 on the Facebook groups, and I've been thinking about it just because I've never actually checked that mold out.
That was one of the figures that was one of the things I worked on, and
Planet
I
X
was thought,
Trypticon?
man, no, the game, and I was like, we're never gonna get this as a toy, and I'm just like, I'm giddy every time I handle it, just because it's perfect. It's a perfect representation of that character, and it's a great transformation.
I just don't have the room for
Yeah.
it. I'm full.
Yeah.
It's not as big as you might think. It's definitely smaller than like Utopia
That's what she said.
or Dystopia. But one thing about that mold is that it's got all the sharp points on it, so you can definitely cut yourself or impale yourself.
So you're saying I shouldn't let my kids play with it?
No!
Let them throw it at each other's face.
No!
Yeah.
No, if you like their eyes where they are, don't.
Yeah. Like, honey, I don't know what happened.
No.
You'll put your eye out, kid.
And then I went ahead and got one more thing too.
I almost bought that this weekend.
Man, I've been eyeing this thing for forever.
All right,
And,
can I ask what you pay for it?
What this?
Yeah.
135.
All right, I almost bought it for 140 this weekend, and the price didn't seem right to me. It's a $5 difference, but still.
Yeah. I mean, BBTS is who I got it from, so it was like 135. So, but yeah, no, like I really enjoyed the new movie. I really love the designs from that movie as well. And so I kind of was debating between this and then there's a couple third-party options as well. And so I was on the fence, and they showed him off this, what was it, last weekend, I think, at like some Hong Kong like convention or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I don't really like the way they look. And I know this thing looks perfect. Like, yes, it doesn't transform, but it is, 100% a accurate representation of the movie figure. So, so yeah,
Posable statue.
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing that I like about the 3A stuff is like, I mean, it's a little more reasonable compared to, at least, especially this line. The Flames toys has been kind of the thing going around. And so they like have a drift figure that is roughly about the size, maybe a little bit bigger. And I realize it's different, but like that thing is like what, 350 or something. And so like,
No, it's not that much. The red version is like 300.
Oh, I'm 300. I was thinking of the Tarn. Is the Tarn 350?
Tarn was like 400.
Yeah, that's up there. But the red drift, I was just looking at one this weekend. That was 300.
At TFCon USA last year, they had Tarn out, and they saw me look at it as I walked by, and she's like, "Come on!" She's like, "Pick it up!" Like she was trying to make the sell, and she was just like, "Pick it up, handle it." She's like, "Use it." She's like, "It does this," and talking about how the joints move, parts slide in and out. They cover it up. There's no gaps. It was really, really impressive, but still.
The one thing I've heard about those figures, and Rick, I don't know if do you own any of the Flame Toy figures?
Yes.
So how are the joints on yours? Because I've heard from various people that like the friction joints kind of wear down after a while.
You're gonna have to watch Cut the Tape, because that's on the list of stuff to open.
Oh, there you go.
That's on the list.
We'll find out. Nice.
We'll find out. I'll make sure I bump that up a few shows for you.
But yeah, no, I've heard that is the friction joints like don't hold up like over time.
Like
and
from
this,
using them or just bearing their weight?
It's an easy fix, though.
Yeah, just from using it, like posing it and whatever. The joints on this are like super tight. So, and then I mean they've got all kinds of there's all kinds of washes on it and whatever. So it looks really really neat. Like I'm very happy with this, and so I'm definitely going to get this. And then they have an Optimus Prime coming out, I think, at the end of the year, and so I want to get both of these and kind of have those guys together.
I think you might have sold me on that.
I'm interested in the one that transforms, just because I did not like any of the offerings that came out. You know, they were based on apparently like early concept art of Bumblebee, and so like even the masterpiece Bumblebee Bug like is really far off model, you know. So I was like, eh. But we'll see how the who is it, Zeta that's doing it? Yeah,
Zeta, and then Transform Element I think actually showed one off too.
Yeah,
and theirs looks pretty good as well. And I know like there's Toy World is releasing Optimus Prime as well, like Freedom Leader or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the movie version, and that actually looks really good as well. Like, so I was kind of debating about those, but I don't know. Like, I mean, again, like my masterpiece figures, like I end up just not transforming the things. You know, they like I transform them once, they sit on my shelf, and so I kind of figured what this is that I still really love, you know, just kind of moving around all the joints and manipulating it and whatever. So I've been really happy with it. And I just keep wanting to pick it up and play with it. And it's kind of the same way where like when the joints move, like there's like little pistons in it and whatever.
That's cool.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a like kind of a in between an art piece and a, you know, whatever, again, like you said, Action Master or whatever. But yeah, I've been happy with it. I've been very impressed. Like I wasn't really sure about it before I ordered it, and I'm happy. So that's that.
Awesome.
That's my stuff for the week.
All right, Rick, you want to go or should I go?
I got a ton of stuff. I can go.
Go for it.
All right, so I've been. This weekend was a hectic weekend for me. I went to Vegas, then California, then Vegas, then California, and I came back.
Well, we want to know about what toys you got, not what STDs, man.
So,
that's a different show. That's after hours.
All right, yes. That's Get the Meds. That's the name of that show. So I'll start vintage. This is this is called a VHS tape. Right? And then you open it, and this is what it looks like.
Do you have something to play that on?
I do, actually. The tape does work. The tape does work. So this is, someone was kind enough and they rewound. This is Transformer Zone. This is the first official release of Transformer Zone, which was the Micromasters pilot episode, I guess you would call it, or
only episode.
Yeah, special event. I don't know. So this is the actual official VHS release of it.
Would you actually watch it?
Nice.
Yeah, I like Zone.
No. I mean, watch that physical copy versus, like one of the DVD
absolutely.
Releases. I would be.
I think Zone's the one that hasn't come out on DVD.
Oh, it
hasn't. The only one that hasn't made. Yeah.
We don't.
It's on Laserdisc, I believe.
Nice.
So coming soon to cut the tape. There's this thing. This is the San Diego Bot Shots thing. It opens up, and some attention was paid to this. So, someone who's been to San Diego Comic-Con, did this. There's the Line League, the Meet and Greets, and the Fantastic Fuelers. And it's a pretty neat set. I'll probably never open this.
Well, it's nice to have like a little window, box there. So.
Yeah, usually with like solid boxes, I tend to just get one instead of two. In my old age, but I'll keep that one sealed. I got this. I'll definitely open. I got the
nice.
the Grappel, the masterpiece Grappel.
That is a and I know it's an old toy or whatever, but that's we used to talk about how like masterpiece toys have that masterpiece moment, and the way both that one and Inferno, all that collapses into their back was just mind blowing, and it's still awesome.
Yeah. Inferno's definitely one of my favorite ones.
Well, and
so
I think Grapple is Grappel is the better mold, honestly, too. Like, it's just more interesting.
and it's the face options that really make it. You get the toy face, the show face. So I don't think there'll ever be a plus version of this. I think we got it all in one shot. I got this brown box. This will definitely come to cut the tape. This is the Legends Big Powered box set.
Oh, nice.
This is the shipping box it came in. A little late to the party, but I finally got my toy version Megatron.
That's such a beautiful figure. I've been so tempted by that so many times. It's just space.
I got to play with my friend's Megatron, and definitely opening this guy up. I really hope it has the. It doesn't have it, but it's got the toy head in it, which I'm going to use for this version.
Totes.
But I keep wanting to have one with like the head from the old commercial, like that dark gray head.
Yeah.
And then I got this thing. I love G2. So this is the Make Toys Starscream version, but done in the G2 with the G2 packaging.
Rick, I got
That is not small.
No, no, this is big. I mean, look, I have a big face.
Yeah. So whenever I got the same figure at TFCon, right? And I get it upstairs, and I realize I'm having trouble actually fitting it into my carry-on because, like, I had to fly to LA.
You had to fit this in your carry-on?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
Rip.
So I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here just trying to like squeeze it a little bit and whatever, just to get the darn thing in there. I managed to make it fit without tearing up the packaging, but it was definitely not easy.
Yeah. And then I finally got in addition to that, I have a nice Merlot. It's actually pronounced Merlot. There's a T there, so.
Rick, you're obviously not shy of third party. You're fine with it. Especially somebody that used to work with Hasbro. I was kind of curious. I know this is off topic, but whatever. What is the general vibe around third party, like in the office? Like
burn it to the ground and kill it.
Really? Like straight up hate it?
So I was very much.
Were you in the closet?
Everyone was very much toe the line that this is killing. This affects our business. We had spreadsheets on how much money we were losing comparatively. A lot of time was spent on analyzing that, but nothing was done with it because of cost. So when I got let go from Hasbro, when me and 1,700 of my closest friends all left Hasbro, I think in the first month I spent like $2,000 on third-party stuff.
Oh, so you stayed away from it while you were...
I had stayed away from it up until the point where it's like, I'm going to collect what I want to collect.
How did they determine...
And then I got laid off, though. All right.
So how did they determine that they lost money towards it? Because, it's all very collector-oriented, which isn't really what Hasbro was doing, especially then.
I don't want to get too into it.
Yeah. I mean, did they just say, if they sold that toy, that was money that would have came to us? Did they make, really bad assumptions?
They had a factor in, and I was part of the team that actually put the spreadsheet together. How many units were produced? How many were distributed? The average price of that item. Hasbro had a lot of information as far as like who was making them, where they were being made, like pictures of the places they were being made, pictures of the inside of the places they were being made.
Yeah.
But China's the Wild West, so.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, it's crazy they had that much information and like couldn't really do anything about it.
Part of the reason why, because the brand has to pay for legal brand expenses. There's an overall expense that goes to the legal team. That's for more macro situations. For a micro situation, the brand would have to pay for it directly out of their budget, which means that they would have to actually not tool a figure and release it in order to pay to go after someone to the degree that they would need to in China to make them stop. And then that person would just go across the street, open a new factory. And then,
Right.
Do you think is there any validity to third party did free market research for Hasbro that people love combiners and helped make Combiner Wars happen?
I think that Hasbro kind of saw the writing on the wall, like combiners are popular. Let's make combiners. I think that was it. But as far as like numbers, no.
Okay.
As far as like, hey, who's making what? How much are they selling them for? How many units? Should we taking that data, extrapolating it into a business decision? No, it didn't work like that.
Okay.
But and finally, I need to get a repro insert for this. I got my corrected box Target Master Hot Rod, and I got a new loose Target Master Hot Rod because mine broke.
So is that like a G1 box, or is that from a reissue or something?
Oh yeah, no. This is Generation 1.
Awesome.
So I do need to get a correct insert. So I was thinking, I was looking at this, and it's got all the paperwork and all the unused sticker sheets, and I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if that Unicron came with that little red film, and you can just, if Unicron came with this, that would just make it extra special, and like a little rub sign on it, like that right there.
Well,
little details like that, which make it extra
have a
special.
sign? He's not a Decepticon. He's not an Autobot.
It doesn't. There's a Unicron faction symbol.
Faction of one.
According to Beast Wars Neo. So the Blentrons were all Unicron, but nobody at Hasbro would know that. So the original Unicron actually had space for a rub sign as well.
Oh.
The original 86 prototype.
I'm curious what faction.
It'd probably be Decepticon.
He's bad.
No little Orson Welles face or anything.
Yeah, just a fat man's face.
Sound effects of him
Right.
screaming about wine, whatever that audio clip is of him.
These frozen peas. Purchase them. Oh, Orson Welles.
So that's quite a haul. Is that like a week or two worth, or
This is a weekend. I made the trip worth it, man. And I didn't go to every place I wanted to go to, and the show was kind of a bust. The show had some really good stuff, man. I almost dropped some major cash on some Sealed Centurion stuff. But
I like
room?
how I go, and I'm like, oh, like I may have spent the most money this week, like and then Rick's like, hold on, let me pull out.
yeah, I somebody had all 3 Centurions plus Hagar sealed, and 2 of the vehicles sealed, and the only reason I didn't pull the trigger was because of Unicron. So that thing better get funded, or I'm out. Centurions collection. So
You said all 3 Centurions and who else?
all 3 Centurions and Hagar. He was the he kind of looked like you, actually.
He's in Final Fight, right? Hagar.
No,
he's
he
the
was
guy
like
that jumps
half man,
around.
half robot.
Oh, Hacker. Doctor and Hacker.
Doctor and Hacker, yes. Hagar is from Final Fight. You're right.
Well, that and Voltron. Right. That's what I was thinking. I was like, which Hagar? What?
Yeah, Hacker. Yes, sorry, yes.
That's where I was confused. I'm like, wait a minute.
That's the one Centurion figure I still need. So,
who has the ownership over the Centurions brand?
not Hasbro.
It's not Hasbro.
Not Hasbro.
Or was that Mattel?
No, it was made by Kenner.
Was it Kenner?
But the IP was somebody else. So someone else owns the IP. Kenner just had the rights to make the toys.
Interesting.
So it's something that we worked on a little bit while I was at Hasbro. And when I worked at Hasbro, the department I actually worked for was called HasLab. And it was all new IP development. And then they've repurposed the name to be like the Hasbro version of Kickstarter. So we worked on HasLab a little bit on Centurions, but it was very murky as to who owned what, and we had already spent so much money on figuring out the ownership rights of Sectars and Micronauts and ROM that they didn't want to pursue trying to find out exactly who owned what in regards to Centurions.
Well,
And eventually HasLab was disbanded and everyone was let go.
I see.
so I guess I'll wrap it up here. I don't have much Transformers. I got Hightower, just like Jim did. We already talked about that. And the only other thing I got this week actually isn't Transformers, but it is a transforming robot. Got the Sola Chogokin God Mars.
Hey.
Oh, I need
nice.
that in my life.
Yeah.
Do you though? Honestly, I don't even
I
know
do.
anything about God Mars, but I like transforming robots, and this guy
Yeah,
transforms. He's nice.
Tell me it's diecast.
Oh, it's yeah.
Oh,
It's a lot. I mean, not like fully. Like, there's definitely plastic in it, but there's also definitely diecast in it as well.
I need that on my Voltron shelf.
No, he's. It's an old mold. Like, I think it's like over 10 years old. So like the articulation's pretty limited. I mean, it has it has knees,
Yeah.
but there's a big gap. That's not how Sola Chogokin would do it these days. There's almost no hip,
Wow.
but there is a swivel there. Or what? But the problem I have with it right now is, and maybe somebody watching this that owns this figure can tell me what I'm doing wrong here. I cannot unpeg the arms for the life of me. I have.
Are there buttons that
Mm-mm.
you have to press, like pressure?
Mm-mm. I mean, that's what I thought there'd be buttons, and like I've looked through the instructions, and nothing. It just says. I mean,
Did you check Dr. YouTube?
I checked Dr. YouTube, and you know what people do? They just go. Like the one or two videos I can find. Most people, they start with the individuals. They
Why don't-
combine it in
here.
the video.
Let's see. Why don't you mail it to me, and then I'll show you how to take the arms out.
Now
I mean,
that reminds me of a similar issue with the legendary Voltron figures that they did. Not the classic legendary, but the regular legendary for the Netflix show.
the Playmates.
Right. Well, it's the
It's
Oh yeah,
pronounced
you just have to
Lamatis.
pull 'em-
just came out like within the past couple years. Anyway, the red and green lions were difficult to try to unpeg from the Black Lion, right? And so what they figured is that you just extend the arm forward and then pull it inward, and that'll kind of help to pop it out. But on the classic set, based on the '80s design, they actually put a little button there to release it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of
So
connections having buttons like that. I
Right.
think it's a great way to do things, but this guy has
So-
no buttons, and it.
I don't want to encourage you to risk breaking anything.
Did you try yelling at it?
But one idea would be maybe like just try it, just extend it forward.
Yeah,
And,
I just did as soon as you said it, and it's just. Still
Nothing?
not it just does not want to give.
ah,
And I mean, I've put a lot of force into it, and I'm not even getting like a budge here, so I don't know.
That's the thing that's hard too. Is like a high end collectible versus like the Playmate set. Like, okay, if somehow you broke those arms, like you could return it to the store, kind of thing. And the combined cost of it is, whatever, like $100.
Yeah,
Versus like I don't know how much that sold.
it's like the set's
one-
it's brand new. It's $280. Like you can buy it in stores or
Uh-huh.
whatever, or online, like
Right.
Big Bad or whatever, eBay.
won't break it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I want to play with it. That's why I buy Transform. I like combining and
So-
uncombining, and
I really want your comparison, like when MP44 comes out, I really want to have you compare that to like Soul Jokin stuff, because I love that, like that Voltron that came out so much, and it kind of ruined Masterpiece for me a little bit just because I just didn't feel like it was as good.
I hit ship on my pile of loot today that has the Solar Chogokin Voltron in it because I missed. Like, I mean, I've had the 20th anniversary Voltron for forever, and I was like, oh, that's good. I don't need to drop 300. And then I saw the reviews of that thing, and I was like, oh man, I was like, I want that. But I was like, oh, but I'm not gonna. I don't $600, $700 want it. And then I was able to secure, one of the reissues on Big Bad. For the 5 minutes it was up.
That Soul Jokin Voltron is probably the favorite piece of my collection.
Really.
Really?
So, for me, like, I mean, I'm also a big Voltron fan. So, yeah, for me, it was just the perfect representation of it. And yeah, I just love how they made it and how it all comes together and whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like a gajillion solo Chogukins, but got God Mars, Gunbuster, and Dan Kuga.
The only one
They're all fun.
I'm really after is I forget who made it, but I think it was Gentle Giants. They made a Shogun version of it. So I have the Lion Voltron, but I don't have the other one.
The vehicle Voltron, I have the pre-order for that one too.
Yeah, actually, I have the Miracle Wonder Dairuga 15, but I actually put it on eBay last night.
Yeah, I have that one too.
And it's the improved version.
Do you have the first version or the second version?
I got the second version, the improved version.
I got the crappy first version because I needed to have it right away.
The second version's like not perfect, but it's not bad. I'm a little worried about the Solo Chogokin one because that left arm post is like really far out, and like all the promo shots, it's really noticeable, as well as the feet to the lower thigh. It's like a tiny post, is what's there, and so I'm a little curious about it. But I went ahead and decided I'd get it. We'll see what happens. I know a lot of people use Solo Chogukins like a high mark, and they're definitely awesome figures, but they're not perfect either. I want to put my Gunbuster has broken 2 or 3 places. The fingers on him have started disintegrating. Just flat out disintegrating. It's just plastic. It does that. And one of the, if he has like a bunch of his arm has like a bunch of flaps that fold out, like fires missiles and crap, and like the pegs where they fold in, one of those broke. And that's through gentle handling. It happens. But yeah, I'm obviously MP44 is their attempt to really rise into that level. I think it's what they're doing is they're saying, hey, this is a robot collector market. Why are we so underpriced compared to things like Solo Chogokin? So I think it'll be curious if it holds up.
Yet Unicron can't get funded.
Well, it hadn't happened yet. We'll see. All right. Well, unless anybody has anything else that they want to talk about, I believe that'll wrap us for today. Anything? Anybody? Going once, going twice, going thrice.
Hey, just a quick update. Unicron is at 2,827 backers. So, just real quick, if anybody knows the answer to this, we were talking before the show. So, it says 2,827 backers. I ordered 2. Does that mean I'm 2 backers or 1 backer? So, talk amongst yourselves.
They're looking to get a total of 8,000 backers, but they have 27.
No, so they're looking for a total of 8,000 backers. They have 2,827 backers as of this moment. But I ordered 2. So does that mean I'm counted as a backer twice or just once? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I would think it would be counted twice, but who knows?
Yeah.
You should buy me one too and add one to your transaction. We'll know for sure.
I'll think about that, Jim.
For science.
All right, you make a strong argument. For science.
Yes.
For science.
I mean, if Rick wants to go one for all of us, I
want to do a new show called Drop Test, where I take really high-end figures and I just drop them and see what happens.
People yell on the internet. That's what happens.
Nerd rage.
Oh, that's what we could do. Have Rick get one for all of us, just one, and it's for all of us. So we have to share it. We each get a week with it.
You each get a piece. You each get a piece of it. It's the ultimate combiner. At the end of your lives, every time somebody dies, that piece is split up amongst the group again, right? Until the last person is left alive, like that Simpsons episode, and then you get the full Unicron.
No, the thing is we all get one, right? But we're responsible for the shipping costs each person.
Oh, with USPS's new shipping rates, it actually would be cheaper to break it up into parts and mail it.
It'd be cheaper to take it outside and roll it down the street.
I tell you what, it would be really bad. Whoever gets hang as the person that they have to ship the Unicron to, that would be rough.
See, now that has me wondering now. Would Unicron float?
Will it blend?
I don't believe it would.
Will it blend?
Saturn would float.
That depends. How big of a blender do you have?
Assuming you have a blender big enough to get it in there. Make that assumption.
Mm. Can you deep fry it?
I live in the South. I'm sure you can.
Rick, that reminds me of one of my favorite Ren and Stimpy bits. Trying to see like, hey, Dad, can you deep fry the Buick? And it was just getting more and more outlandish as the sketch went on.
From
All
the
kinds of
producers
things.
of Don't Whiz on the Electric Fence.
Yes,
That one.
yes.
Or Log.
I actually literally watched the Log commercial again yesterday.
It's Log.
It's
It's
a
Log.
developer thing.
It's big. It's heavy. It's wood.
We were logging stuff in our database, and so I sent it to my coworker.
It's better than bad. It's good.
You totally should make that the sound, like whenever someone logs something, like have that be a sound on Windows.
We need a crowdfunded log now.
All right. Well, on that note, we should probably wrap it up here. So, we here at the TFYLP cast, this is Ouch My Wallet, part of the TF Talk Network. If you love what we do,
Ouch, my wife's wallet.
check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/TFYLP. You can catch Microcasters live Tuesday night on Facebook, the main TFYLP show Sunday nights on YouTube, and then Ouch My Wallet here on Wednesday nights. And with that, we will see you in the next episode.
It's pronounced Tiflip.
That is correct.
Tiflip.
All right, so night, everybody.